our newest character, Juke, but also the highlights for the end of beta event with things like all the new rogues, all the rogues being unlocked, which does include Juke. All the guns 1 week. We've got some extra rogue XP 1 week, and I believe I saw double reputation for a week. So really exciting stuff to kind of kick off our full release, as well as having this new character, Brad. And you could kind of see what was going on in that teaser trailer. She's a scientist. She's a very, very tech-heavy scientist, a brilliant engineer that has constructed one of the world's first true artificial intelligences. But a jackal attack left her life's work destroyed at that facility. So she's really just looking for answers. That's kind of her main driver right now, why she's come to Rogue Company. She wants to understand why somebody has gone after her life's work, and a very impactful piece of work that it is. Definitely some implications there and some mysteries to be unveiled. You get a little look kind of at her kit here. We've got the laser defense drone and the Juke boots, some stuff that we're very excited to show off in-game. We're going to hop into the shooting range with the brand new character Juke and show off a little bit more about this combat kit. All right, folks, we're in-game live with Juke. I've got my full kit purchased here. I've got my Ibex fully upgraded. You'll notice with the Gunsmith perk and a fully upgraded Ibex, it takes me to 48 in the mag. So a pretty high capacity SMG here. It's got the 5-round burst, 2 full bursts, aka 10 bullets. Will take somebody out from close range. Pretty powerful, pretty effective SMG. Can be pretty good on the headshots too if you're good at controlling the burst. This weapon has a fairly predictable recoil pattern. If you'll notice, it's kind of it's got that sort of V kick. It's either going to kick up to the right. Sometimes it'll kick up to the left too. So being able to pull down and then quickly adjust to whatever horizontal direction it's going is kind of how you're going to control it. You know, I've got the warrant here as my sidearm. I've got the combat knife as well, if you're interested in that stuff. Shout out to the Rambo skin combat knife. Now for her passive, if you noticed when we were on the rogue screen, it's called the Juke boots. Your dodge roll is replaced by a rocket dash that travels further and faster than a standard dodge roll. And the kicker is it can be used mid-air. So I can traverse larger gaps than other rogues. I can use this creatively with zip lines, jump off halfway, and then dash over to different platforms and stuff. Really reaching some areas that were otherwise unreachable to rogues, especially to defenders. One of the fun things about this character is the added mobility, but combined with the sort of defender kit allows you to get somewhere that might be kind of isolated, right? You're going to be tempted to want to rocket dash into harm's way a lot just because it's so dang fun, but you have the laser defense drones here, which are just these turrets that will stick to any surface. You have 2 of them. Obviously, we're in the shooting range, so they're going to recharge much faster than they would in a standard game. But you can dash to an area where you might be alone, you might be a little bit isolated, but you can throw these out as sort of your backup and play around them and have something to play around, even though you might find yourself isolated from time to time playing as Juke. These turrets don't do too much damage on their own, but if you can get them stacked up on the same target, they will start to kind of fry. We'll take a look here. This is sort of what the range is looking like. So you can stick these to any surface, put them in cheeky places. But you'll see as I've placed these a little bit too high, Umbra here is just out of range, so we can place these a little bit closer to him. That'll work. That'll play if I stick it to the wall here. This should work as he's a little bit in range over there. And once you get both these firing on the same target, if you can, they can really start to stack up and do some formidable damage, especially if you're hanging out nearby and can follow up on that damage. You'll see as the bots kind of respawn, takes them about 3/4 of a second or so, just under a second to acquire a target and start firing. So if you're playing against this, you're going to look out for this kind of thin targeting laser that's locking onto you, and then the thicker actual damaging laser will start to apply the heat, if you will. So that's sort of how you have time to react. In the world, you'll notice I've got these kind of icons floating on my screen. They're white and they'll turn yellow when they actually start to fire on a target. And I do believe, I don't think I can destroy my own turrets here, but they do turn red, and you'll kind of notice when they die and enemies are taking them out, where they're which turrets are dying and all that good stuff. If somebody walks into range of the turret and then out of the range, you'll notice my turret's going to lock onto the Kestrel here, And then as she goes around the corner, the turret is just going to stare at that corner, or the last place that it had a valid sort of angle to shoot on a target. So it'll stare at that corner just in case the Kestrel re-peaks, and if she does, it'll resume firing on her. And, but if it doesn't, you know, it'll kind of cut back to sort of a search mode and be looking for new targets. So very, very fun. These stick, again, to any surface. They'll go forever, too. So you just kind of send your little buddies off into the wild, wild west. And wherever you place them, you can kind of use them almost as like sentries, like across the map sometimes. You won't be able to follow up, but they can be used for gaining some like valuable information. If I wanted to, you know, see if there's somebody over there on this corner, I could throw this bad boy across, wait for it to get there. It'll land, pick up targets. If they don't, you know, you could see enemies shooting at it. So lots of good ways to kind of fish for information with these, especially once you get that legendary Energizer online. You'll notice you'll have a decent amount of these turrets available to throw. Obviously not nearly as fast as the shooting range recharge is going to get me, but very, very fun to play around. Great little pieces of backup for you because you're going to be wanting to use that mobility to get yourself into some cool places to play around. Let's talk through some of the rest of her kit. So the impact grenade, like I mentioned, this is fully upgraded. This is what the fully upgraded radius looks like. It's a little bit smaller than your standard, you know, Semtex's frags and bounces and things, and it doesn't do nearly as much damage as those. But what you'll notice is that it blows up the second it touches the ground. So if you're precise with this smaller range, you can finish off targets, you can soften them up, throw a turret, you know, lots of different ways to play around with getting the damage you need to take out one or multiple targets if you're playing the kit effectively. So very fun, very fast too. The thing about the impact grenade is it keeps up with Juke's pace. You know, as you're dashing through the air, it feels good to kind of throw things, and you know, maybe you're getting above somebody over the cover and you want to just have a grenade that can keep up with the pace that you're moving around the map. Fun little combos to do there. Last piece is the other new gadget here, this reflector. So the first forced movement mechanic in Rogue Company. What does that mean? So I can use this thing to blast enemy players through cover and walls up into the air and hopefully into harm's way, whether that's, you know, I want to use it to get them off of a piece of cover that I am also on. It's got a pretty limited range, so you need to be pretty close to the targets that you want to hit. I can knock people off the map with this thing. Lots and lots of fun stuff that you can do with the old reflector. You can swap to your gun. They're able to fire the whole time, so you need to be a little bit careful about how you play it because you needed to take a second to pull your gun back out. You could knock them into your turret's range. Plenty of fun stuff that you do. I can't wait to see the first team wipe with the reflector, knocking people off the map. Super, super fun. Like I mentioned, her other class of gun is LMG. She's going to start with the Conviction. Fan favorite, feels super good, especially with the decent rank of gunsmith to make sure you got a massive mag. Super good feeling on defenders as well, so you'll be able to kind of rock and roll with that. If you aren't an SMG player or you just don't prefer the burst weapon, obviously you can use any of the other SMGs or LMGs that you have mastered through the weapon mastery system on Juke. But that about covers it, folks. That's it for Juke. I'm super excited for you guys to get your